G'day everyone. Well, I just thought I'd do an update on what's going on with our holding tank. There's a little bit of a difference going on here now. You can see we've now removed all the rock from here. So it used to have rock from end to end, and put a frag rack. And for a while now we've been having issues with hitchhikers. Now, I've had enough of it. Now what I'm talking about, let's zoom in here, see if I can get it to zoom in and focus. See this little tube thing in the center of the screen? It's a vermetid snail. Our tank is absolutely riddled with them. They're everywhere. See, go back here. See these little tubes everywhere. It's just gotten so bad. They're affecting the coral. They're irritating the coral. They put out their little feeder web, which irritates the coral, and the corals don't open up. Then the coral's just slowly starving and dying. See it on our clamshell back here. They're just everywhere, all over the rock. The rock's riddled with them. If you ever get a frag and you see one of these tube looking things on there, get rid of it. You need to remove the snail, not just the tube, but you need to remove it right at the base too, because the snail's actually like at the base on the rock or on the frag plug. Even got, see them growing on the snail itself as well. They're just relentless. They just completely overtake all of your rock. And it's gotten to the point where the coral's really starting to suffer. You can see even here, got a big one. Most of them are small, but this one here is actually quite big. And a lot of time you see that, look at the zoas on this rock, they just don't want to open. There's just vermetid snails everywhere. They just don't want to open. And mushrooms, I mean, we had a lot of red mushrooms here, and now they're like a fraction of the size they used to be. They're just being so irritated and don't want to open up properly, because you put your hand in there and try and grab the rock, and these little snails are so sharp it can actually cut your fingers, and they stab your fingers and draw blood. So it's gotten to the point where we're now declaring war against hitchhikers. I mean, as always, prevention is better than cure, and it's always better to quarantine all of your coral when you get new coral. Dip it, check it. I'd even go to the extent of when you get a frag, take the coral off the frag plug, make sure there's nothing between the coral and the frag plug, and if you want it on a frag plug, put it on your own frag plug. It's just got to be so thorough. Just, once you get hitchhikers in your tank, it is just so hard sometimes, depending on what it is, to get rid of them. And I've researched quite a bit now, trying to find out what will eat these vermetid snails. Some things have, limited success. I've heard of some wrasses that eat it, but then other people have the same wrasse and they don't touch it, and so it's very hit and miss. I've heard bumblebee snails may eat it, but then a lot of people say, well, I've got bumblebee snails and they don't do diddly squat. So pretty much I've heard emerald crabs eat them, but then they can also eat other coral as well. So, you know, what we are doing is we are now in the process of removing our coral off of the rocks and trying to make sure that the coral itself is snail free, because they also do, I mean, we had on our trumpets, had a lot of snails on the trumpet stems themselves. Our torch had a really big snail on it that we had to cut off. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. We're pretty much going to be starting again. Yeah, it's just gotten so bad. We just don't want to have these snails in our tank. This is still our 40-gallon holding tank. We'll probably end up taking all of the zoas off of this rock and just keeping whichever ones we want to keep, and probably discard the rest. Try and get all the mushrooms off, the leather finger off. Some of these other corals, like the chalice, it's not doing that great. But that's been struggling ever since we used ChemiClean. A lot of our coral that was purple seemed to be affected when we did use ChemiClean. So we might try and salvage what we can. And we're just basically going to, take all of the rock out and re-cure it and pretty much start it all over again with the rocks. So yeah, pretty much just going to refrag all the coral we want to keep and re-cure all the rock, kill all the snails, do it all properly, start again. I mean, we pretty much need to re-aquascape anyway, so would much rather, you know, make sure we're snail free when we re-aquascape. So we've got still, you know, the 125 sitting over here. It's a work in progress. We've got some of the rock already cured now, and we've got we've already taken all the rock that was sitting over this side of the tank taken out, and now got that drying out and going to cure it. So I don't want to take all of the rock out all in one hit, because it's going to be too big a shock, I believe, to the system. So we're doing it, you know, a step at a time, and just gradually frag all the coral we want to keep, and we'll be then drying out all the rock. And once it's all dried and cured, I mean, it will make the aquascape for the 125 a lot easier. Being able to aquascape dry rock, as opposed to trying to aquascape rock with coral already on it. So, you know, I'm trying to look at the positives, where, you know, we can really get the aquascape done how we want without having to worry about coral. And yeah, pretty much going to start again, get the aquascape done in the 125, and then we can start putting the coral on the rock in the 125 after it's all aquascaped and recycled. So this is where we are at the moment. We also have, as far as hitchhikers go, another pest that we have had, which is nowhere near as bad. Little Asterina starfish. I'll eventually probably get a harlequin shrimp. I mean, there's quite a few in here. You see them scattered around here and there. They're all hiding now when the light comes on. This is, I'm sure you're very familiar with what they look like. So leave any comments in the comments below, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, and keep everyone updated, and I'll get back to you on the next video.